This YouTube video was made on Christmas Day, and I'm going to talk about the abuse I've had to suffer as a undercover nun, and it's been extensive. A nun is somebody that's married to heaven. Everything I do is spiritual. Everything I've always done has been spiritual. I never want to leave church to the point that my ex-husband divorced me. And he told me he was going to divorce me for that reason before he did divorce me. He said, all you do is spend all your time in church. I was set up and I went to jail. And while I was in jail, I was abused horribly. Some of the women are kept in weird cell blocks where they're tortured all day for sexual reasons, so perverts can masturbate to it. The women were tortured so bad that I started becoming aroused, and I had to notify all the women in there. So you get set up, you go to jail, and then you're tortured horribly. While I was in jail, I made up tons of stuff that wasn't true because I don't want to talk to anybody anyway. But I was tortured when I got there. You can be tortured to the point where you're made retarded, and that's what happened to the women in that cell block I was in. After I got out of jail, I got an apartment, and I thought this is a nice apartment. So I had all my nice stuff in there. I had my table in the living room so I could do my arts and crafts and give psychic readings. I had my Bible collection. I had my soothsaying mirror, my coffee pot. My bathroom was spotless, perfect for nice bubble baths and candles. I had my nice clothing collection. The apartment complex I lived in offered police officers half off rents, and all the police officers that lived in my apartment complex abused everybody horribly. I've lived in tons of apartments, and nobody's ever knocked on my door before. At that apartment, all of a sudden, strange people started knocking on my door constantly. Just like in jail, and the door at that apartment was metal, so it started making me upset. So then I decided to walk around my apartment naked. I thought I live alone. I live upstairs. There's no reason why I can't walk around my apartment naked. The second day I was walking around naked, the neighbor downstairs started yelling at me. She started screaming, "Nobody thinks you're hot. Nobody thinks you're attractive." And I thought, why? How would she know that I was walking around up here naked? I don't even know the woman. I've never talked to her before. I started watching the Trailer Park Boys season 1, and the neighbors in my apartment complex started abusing me horribly. When I was in jail, they had undercover police officers as inmates, and those police officers were in charge of making everybody look stupid and starting fights. Jail shows and police shows are TV shows. They have producers that know what looks good and what doesn't look good. So they run around and make everybody look stupid. This woman only goes to church, and everything she does is spiritual. She just watches church shows and gives psychic readings. In my last apartment I had, every time I tried listening to the radio, my neighbors would start yelling at me. Now in this motel, I can't even get a music channel on the TV. That doesn't look good if you're under police surveillance. Somebody relaxing and meditating and listening to relaxing music. I know lots of nuns. If you are a nun, an angel from the Vatican will actually come over to wherever you're at and tell you what you're supposed to be doing. I am supposed to be collecting garbage for the Vatican and emailing them gossip all the time. Stuff that's going on in the ghetto. If a nun is walking to the grocery store, that isn't unusual. They're really poor. They have to sleep in little rooms with little cots. They're not allowed to have cell phones. Most of them can't drive. If you see a nun walking around in her nun's garb, you know not to run around and harass her. They're poor. They work for heaven. They're walking to the grocery store to get groceries. If that same nun wears casual clothing, all of a sudden tons of perverts start stopping them. All of a sudden tons of police officers start stopping them and harassing them. If that same nun dresses attractively in gangster clothing, then you have the gang unit following them around, yelling at them, trying to see what kind of friends they have. When I see attractive looking men that are dressed attractively in nice blue jeans and a nice shirt and a baseball cap, I know there's someone sweet that's walking somewhere. So I am abused horribly. I went to my ex-husband's house to have pizza with him, and the pizza delivery man came to give us our pizza. And before that, I was giving my children a religious lesson, and I also give them meditation sessions where I spirit channel different angels, and I talk in a relaxing voice. So I was doing that kind of stuff with them, and then we ordered a pizza, and it was an undercover police officer. And after they left, I told everybody that was an undercover police officer that dropped the pizza off. And 2 minutes later, somebody came and started beating on the front door. And I jumped up and started running, and my kids got all scared. And then I realized that's what happens on police TV shows. They have, if you watch police TV, if you watch TV shows if you watch police TV shows on TV, like the Rockford Files, those people have police officers that go over there all the time and harass them. So they look terrified all the time. They don't like people being respected. They don't like to see nice loving families on their video footage. So they go over there all the time. They beat on their doors. Every time the family is relaxed and enjoying themselves, doing an arts and crafts project or anything, the police officers will come over and start beating on the door to make them look stupid on camera. Obviously, if you're watching a bunch of houses and apartment buildings on camera, you want them to look the way you want them to look. In this motel room, I'm not allowed to watch the music channels on TV. That doesn't look good on camera. If people are relaxing, listening to Christmas music, meditating and doing yoga, So that's the kind of abuse I've had to suffer. My internet is always messed up. I've been doing Google searches for 20 years, and now all my internet searches are messed up. None of my normal religious websites are popping up. I only Google religious stuff, nothing else. Witchcraft sites, Christian sites, angel sites, ghost hunting sites,